I truly believe that the best situation here is to let the law do their jobs and please stop the senseless violence because it ain't bringing nobody back. And I don't want anybody to have to go through what me and my wife and family are going through right now. This is not a pain or a wish that I would wish on anybody. We thank you for your sincerity. We thank you for the well wishings, the prayers, and we ask that you please honor us and let us mourn in peace. And please, just let the law do the job. Please, we don't need nobody retaliating, nobody trying to keep it real for the hood, because the hood ain't bringing our child back. The hood ain't gonna bring our child back. The hood can't bring my grandchildren, their mother, back.
A knock at the door. Sade Dixon, 24 and 2 months pregnant, answers it. Standing on the porch is the man she just left, Markeith Lloyd, the man who bit her hard enough to draw blood, hard enough for a tetanus shot. 3 days earlier, she'd packed her things and moved back in with her parents, telling no one exactly why. Now, he's found her. In the next few seconds, 11 shots ring out into the Pine Hills night. Sade Dixon is dead. Her unborn child is gone. Her brother, Ronald Stewart, lies bleeding on the porch, shot trying to save her. But this isn't where the story ends. It's where it begins. Lloyd is about to vanish into a 9-day manhunt that will claim the life of Orlando Police Lieutenant Debra Clayton, ignite a political firestorm reaching Governor Rick Scott's office, and end with a 100-round magazine, a pair of stolen handcuffs, and 2 words: he's caught. Dixon and Lloyd had been dating since the fall of 2016. He had met her family, shared meals at their table, and by all appearances, seemed to be building a life with her. But the relationship had a darker undercurrent. According to Dixon's family, the couple argued over everyday things: his marijuana use, her vegetarian diet. Disagreements that, on their own, might have seemed unremarkable. What was not unremarkable was a physical altercation in which Lloyd bit Dixon on the back hard enough that she needed a tetanus shot. On December 10th, just 3 days before her death, Dixon quietly moved back into her parents' home. She didn't explain to her family exactly why. She only told them she and Lloyd had fought. That decision likely saved lives because it put Dixon back inside a house full of people who loved her, but it did not save her own. On the evening of December 13th, her brother Andrew Daniels and their mother, Stephanie Dixon Daniels, heard gunshots outside and opened the front door. They found Dixon and Stewart on the ground, both wounded. Lloyd fired toward Daniels and his mother as he fled to a red Buick Regal parked on the street. Daniels pushed his mother back inside for safety and turned to try to help his siblings. Neither he nor his mother was hit. Investigators later recovered 11 spent .40 caliber shell casings at the scene. Paramedics arrived quickly, but Dixon was pronounced dead just 13 minutes after the first 911 call. Her brother survived his wounds and began a long physical recovery. If you watch up to this moment, please subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. Detectives moved fast, naming Lloyd the sole suspect within hours. But finding him proved to be an entirely different matter. Lloyd was not a stranger to law enforcement. Court records showed he had been arrested roughly 20 times in Orange County dating back to 1994, and correctional records showed prior prison time, including a stint tied to resisting arrest. He knew how to disappear, and for nearly a month, he did. Then, on the morning of January 9th, 2017, the case turned into something far larger. A shopper at an Orlando Walmart recognized Lloyd inside the store and alerted Orlando Police Lieutenant Debra Clayton, a 17-year veteran of the department who happened to be nearby. Clayton approached him in the parking lot and ordered him to the ground. Instead, Lloyd ducked behind a support pillar, drew a weapon, and opened fire. Clayton returned fire and was struck 4 times. As she lay on the ground, Lloyd walked toward her and fired a final shot into her neck. He fled the scene in a stolen vehicle, which he later abandoned. Clayton, 42 years old and married just over a year, died from her injuries. She left behind 2 children. The killing of a police officer transformed the search for Lloyd into one of the largest manhunts in Central Florida history. Orlando's police chief, John Mina, vowed publicly that his department would track Lloyd down to the ends of the earth. A reward that started at $60,000 climbed to $100,000 and eventually $150,000 as tips poured in from the public. More than 800 calls in total.
Video is shedding new light on the dark moments before the huge manhunt for Markeith Lloyd. The footage takes us back to the Walmart on Princeton Avenue the morning of January 9th when Lieutenant Debra Clayton lost her life. News 6's Nadine Yanis has spent hours sifting through the new documents in this case. Nadine.
Well, Ginger, this is the first time we are seeing video of both Markeith Lloyd and Lieutenant Debra Clayton. Lloyd, you see here, walked in the door at 6:45 on the dot. And then 15 minutes later, you saw Lieutenant Debra Clayton walk in. They both began shopping, crossing paths a couple of times, unsuspecting of what would come. He looks like an unusual shopper, wearing a security sweatshirt and camo pants, but grocery shopping like anyone else. But prosecutors say this is a cold-blooded killer, moments before he would kill again. Seen shopping at the Princeton Street Walmart for about 15 minutes before Orlando Police Lieutenant Debra Clayton's SUV pulls in. A minute later, you see her grab a cart and walk into the Walmart at 7 a.m. on the dot. She heads to the produce aisle first, is there for a few minutes, while Markeith Lloyd is seen coming out of the bathroom at 7:04. For the next 10 minutes or so, the two are seen shopping, crossing paths every few minutes. This is Lieutenant Clayton walking past the cosmetic line at 7:09 a.m. 3 minutes later, you see Lloyd walk by too. By now, Lieutenant Clayton was checking out, while Lloyd, who was in the same line as Clayton, decides to check out on the other side of the store. It was while he was in line to check out there, the most chilling moment occurred at 7:15 a.m. Watch closely as Lieutenant Clayton, on the way out of the Walmart and to work, walks right past Lloyd, checking out. Having no idea, less than 3 minutes later, she would be dead. The call coming in over the radio at 7:18, an officer was down. And one of the first people to reach Lieutenant Clayton after she was shot was a Walmart employee who had clocked out just minutes before. And in this batch of new evidence released is that woman's interview, along with other witnesses. Hear what she told detectives from a manager's office in that Walmart that morning in my story tonight at 5 o'clock. Ginger.
So tough to watch that surveillance video. Nadine Yanis, thank you.
Investigators searched over 100 locations. They found clothing Lloyd had discarded near the Walmart, along with a bulletproof vest. Police believed the vest was the only reason he survived the exchange of gunfire with Clayton. The search came at a cost beyond the original crimes. During the manhunt, Orange County Sheriff's Deputy First Class Norman Lewis was killed in a motorcycle crash while responding to a search-related call. His death became, in the eyes of investigators and the community, another casualty directly tied to Lloyd's actions, even though Lloyd never encountered him. Meanwhile, 2 of Lloyd's relatives, his niece, Sadaria Smith Lloyd, and a woman named Katrina Slaughter, were arrested and accused of helping him evade capture.
Bonding out of jail. News 6 has learned LaKentia Smith Lloyd put up the money tonight after a judge agreed to lower her bond. Court records show the judge reduced her bond from $750,000 to $10,000. But as of right now, she is still in the Orange County Jail.
In court, a prosecutor told a judge it was reasonable to believe Smith Lloyd knew Lloyd's location and had chosen not to disclose it. Her bond was set at $750,000. For 9 days, Lloyd stayed ahead of police, U.S. Marshals, and FBI agents working the case. What ultimately brought the manhunt to an end wasn't one of the hundreds of tips called in by the public. It was cell phone tracking that led investigators to an abandoned house on Lescott Lane in the Carver Shores neighborhood, only blocks from Clayton's mother's home. On the evening of January 17th, SWAT teams surrounded the property. Lloyd tried to slip out the back, but was met by officers and retreated inside. He then emerged through the front door wearing body armor and carrying 2 handguns, one fitted with a 100-round magazine. He threw the weapons to the ground before resisting arrest. Officers restrained him using a pair of handcuffs that had belonged to Lieutenant Clayton. He sustained minor facial injuries during the struggle and was taken to a hospital before being transferred to the Orange County Jail the following day.
The Orlando Police Department says they immediately started the investigation after they arrested Markeith Lloyd in 2017. That investigation was then handed over to State Attorney Phil Archer. News 6's Clay Lepard has been breaking down the findings. He joins us live in studio with more. Clay?
Justin and Bridget, this is the chopper video that gives us the best look at when Markeith Lloyd was taken into custody in January of 2017, with Lloyd crawling on his stomach to surrender and then being kicked in the head by at least 2 officers before the camera pans away. Based on this investigation, we've now officially learned that 4 officers used force on Lloyd by kicking him and using their rifles to hit him in the face and back. Lloyd is still awaiting trial for the murders of Orlando Police Lieutenant Debra Clayton and his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon. When Lloyd was walked in front of our camera after his arrest, you could hear him say, "They beat me up," with his eye swollen and eventually a bandage over it. But this report from the state's attorney's office says that force was justified, citing stand your ground. It goes on to say that officers were nervous when Lloyd surrendered, in that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, in that he might still have a gun on him, and that he might try to grab an officer's gun. The investigation also points out that one officer may have spit on Lloyd when he was arrested. Now, many motions in this case were put on hold while this excessive force investigation was ongoing. His trial for the murder of Lieutenant Debra Clayton is scheduled to start in May of 2020, and the trial for Dixon's murder expected to happen in September. Bridget and Justin.
With Lloyd in custody, the case moved into the courts and almost immediately became entangled in political controversy. Lloyd was indicted separately for the murders of Dixon and Clayton. Newly elected state attorney Aramis Ayala announced she would not pursue the death penalty against Lloyd, or in any case during her tenure as the county's top prosecutor. The reaction was swift. Florida Governor Rick Scott removed Ayala from the case entirely and assigned a special prosecutor without first consulting Dixon's family. That decision drew public pushback from more than 100 lawyers and legal scholars, as well as the Florida Legislative Black Caucus, who argued Scott had overstepped and set a troubling precedent. Notably, Dixon's own parents supported Ayala's original decision. They said they did not want to subject themselves to the prolonged ordeal of death penalty proceedings, a rare instance of a victim's family publicly siding against capital punishment in a case involving their own daughter. Lloyd's behavior in the courtroom became its own recurring storyline. At his first appearance, he launched into a profanity-laced outburst, foreshadowing a pattern of combative and disruptive conduct that continued through much of the pre-trial process. He also insisted for a period on representing himself, prompting the court to appoint public defenders as standby counsel.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
You know what she said before she said that, I'm asking why I had a gun on you.
Okay.
Why are you doing it? Before she threw a gun out.
Okay.
I'm asking sorry what the fuck you been shooting. She's saying what I'm doing. What I'm doing. What I'm doing. I'm sorry what the fuck you been shooting. Well, I put my gun on my skin here.
And then she...
Nah, I feel like sorry. Drop that gun on the ground. Put that gun on the side. Sorry, don't bring it in the hand. She bring it in for it.
And then throw it. And so you... And what happened?
By the time I walk up front to the front of the garage, I come up to the front of the garage. I'm right here. She stays back in the car with the front of the car. I hear somebody in the garage. I turn around, her brother is right there in the garage window. Looking out the garage window.
Okay, so let's stop for a second. Stand right there. You can do it this way. Is that better? That way? And do it that way? All right. All right. So show us here where you were on the side of the house. Okay, I want you to put S where she's at and M where you're at.
The presiding judge, Fred Lawton, later retired from the case, and Judge Leticia Marquez took over both matters. The trial for Sade Dixon's murder began in 2019. On the stand, Lloyd offered his own account of the relationship, describing disputes over lifestyle choices and admitting to physically grabbing Dixon by the neck and pushing her to the ground during one confrontation, after which he told her he was leaving. His defense team argued that Dixon and her brother had provoked the shooting, pointing to evidence that Dixon had also handled firearms during the relationship. Prosecutors presented physical evidence, the shell casings recovered at the scene, and testimony establishing Lloyd as the shooter.
December 13th, your purpose of going, I think you said, was to just explain yourself to Sade?
Yes, sir.
You sort of calm things down between you and her?
Yes, sir.
So she wouldn't go get an abortion?
Yes, sir.
Now, you testified that her mother and grandmother wanted her to get an abortion. Did they ever tell you that?
She told me.
Sade told you?
Yes.
So that's how you knew that?
Yes, she told me.
So the only person who's alive that can talk about that conversation is you?
No, when I told her father that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And her father, when her mother came to the kitchen for me, her father was, he was like, Sade's pregnant. She was like, I ain't no baby.
I'm sorry?
She said, I ain't no baby. She already knew that Sade was pregnant because she got the thing through the mail. So she was just letting it be known I knew she didn't want her to have a baby.
You just knew she didn't want to raise that child?
I don't know whether she wanted to raise the child or whether she wanted to have a baby, but she didn't have to worry about raising my child.
Okay.
I'm raising my own child.
You were going to raise the child and take care of it yourself?
Yes.
But the whole question of the abortion that came to you from Sade?
Yes, and not just Sade, just like I just said, when I talked to her father, and I told him that Sade was pregnant, and he told his wife when she came in that Sade was pregnant. She was like, I ain't no baby, but she knew Sade was pregnant because she got the letter through the mail letting her know that Sade was pregnant.
Ms. Dixon Daniels knew she was pregnant. Did she say, I want her to have an abortion?
No, she didn't tell me that.
Okay. So Sade is the only person who said abortion to you.
Yeah, she don't want to say abortion.
Now, when you took her to the real estate class and you parked outside and slept in the car, that was so Sade could sort of keep an eye on you.
So she could stay focused on school.
Right. She would have to be worried about what you were doing.
Yes.
You weren't there to keep an eye on her.
No.
And she was be worried about what you were doing because she was afraid you might be out with other women.
No, she was worried about what I was doing because she came in a relationship with trust issues for her past relationships.
Well, what did she think you might be out doing?
Whatever her past relationship was, probably thought I was out messing with other women. Okay, that's how I talk. But got to change up the way I talk. She was worried about me, whether I was doing something, because in her past relationship, that's what she went through. So she brought her problems from her past relationship in this relationship, something I don't do.
Regardless of why she was there, her problem was she thought you were out messing with other women.
She was worried about that.
Yes, and that upset her.
She didn't know it or not.
Yeah, right. That upset her thinking you might be out there messing with other women.
I don't know if it upset her, how it made her feel. But she probably thought I was out there dealing with other women. She asked me what you was doing. I told her I was at home asleep. So from that day on, I slept in the car so she didn't got to worry about what I'm doing.
So you slept in the car so she wouldn't think you were out messing with other women?
Yes.
So she wouldn't have liked it if you were out messing with other women?
What woman would?
Okay. So when you went over there the night of the 13th, you were just trying to kind of cool down the situation?
I went over to explain myself to her, to let her know why situation happened, why I was doing what I was doing.
Right. And so one of the things you told her was that you were having sex with another woman the very day after you broke up with her.
No, I had sex with another woman that very day that the incident happened.
I'm sorry. When did you told her you had sex with another woman?
The very day the incident happened, I had sex with another woman.
Okay, so that very day, you told her you had sex with another woman that day?
When I went over there and she asked me.
Right. And you told her you had?
Yes.
But your purpose in being there was just try to cool things down and explain yourself?
Yes.
So telling her you had had sex with another woman that very day made her mad enough to go get a gun?
I guess it did. Or made her upset enough, mad, upset, however she felt.
She didn't go get the gun because she was worried about you having guns?
Negative.
It was because she was just mad because you told her you'd had sex with somebody that day?
She was mad because I was moving along with my life and she was losing her key.
So when she comes down with this gun, she never really pulled it out of her pants?
No, when she came down with the gun, she called me to the side of the house.
But she didn't pull the gun out on you at first?
She had her hand on the gun.
She had her hand on it, but she didn't pull it out?
No.
She didn't say, I'm going to shoot you with this?
She didn't say she wasn't.
She didn't say she was going to shoot you?
She didn't say she wasn't.
Your Honor, the court instructed the witness to answer the questions.
Mr. Lloyd, listen to the question you're being asked and answer that question. Mr. Ridgway, go ahead.
My question to you is, she did not say, I'm going to shoot you.
No, she didn't say that.
All right. But you decided you needed to pull your own guns out and point them at her?
Yes, because I asked her what she's going to shoot me, and she didn't tell me she wasn't.
All right, so you pulled your two guns that you had with you?
Yes.
And told her to drop it?
I told her to drop that gun, just drop the gun on the ground, or throw the gun to the side. And don't bring her hand forward. That's what I told her.
And she dropped it, but she dropped it in a way that you...
She brought her hand forward, and then she threw it.
So at that point, you were prepared to shoot her?
I pulled the trigger.
You were ready to shoot her?
I pulled the trigger. I thought she was going to shoot me.
You were trying to
I just told you I pulled the trigger. What else you want me to say?
I want you to tell me you were trying to shoot her.
I pulled the trigger. I answered the question. What else you want me to say?
Hold on. Mr. Lloyd, when you hear objection, you need to stop talking. The court reporter cannot take down everyone talking at the same time. Mr. Ridgway, one more time, ask the question.
You were prepared to shoot her?
I pulled the trigger. because she
Shoot
brought
the
a hand
gun.
for it.
You pull the trigger, the gun would fire, right?
Say that again?
You pull the trigger. When you pull the trigger on a gun, the gun's going to fire.
Yes, I guess I didn't pull it hard because I reacted to what she
You
did.
pulled it knowing it would fire.
Yes, I pulled it reacting to what she did.
Pointed at her.
Of course.
Now, when you got back around to the front of the house, and Ronald Stewart came out, did you say you were worried he might be coming out with a gun?
I didn't say that.
Were you concerned he might have a gun when he came out?
I don't know what he might be doing. I don't know what he's seen. I don't know when exactly I put everything up, so I don't know what he's seen.
Was it in your mind he might have a gun when he comes out?
I just told you I don't know what was in his mind.
Mr. Lloyd, you need to answer the question you're being asked. Go ahead, Mr. Ridgway.
Objection. I need to come side of objection.
Mr.
Because I'm
Lindeman,
answering his
have a
question.
seat. Go ahead, Mr. Ridgway.
Yes or no, and then you can explain. In your mind, were you thinking Ronald Stewart may have a gun?
No.
So he comes out, and the three of you are standing there talking.
Yes.
And you've got 3 guns.
Yes.
You know Sade doesn't have a gun because you took hers.
I took her gun.
And you had no reason to think Ronald Stewart had a gun.
No.
Now, did Ronald Stewart say, y'all just need to go your own ways, we need to cool this down, talk another day?
I
Did he say that to
I don't
you?
know exactly what he said. He said that y'all probably need to talk some other time or whatever. But when he came out, I told him we were straight. She told him we were straight.
All right. But he was saying that y'all needed to separate and talk another day?
I guess that's what he said. I don't know exactly what he said.
Is that the message that he was conveying?
He was forcing himself on us. We both of us told we didn't need him.
He was trying to get you to separate.
I guess whatever he was doing, I don't know what was in his mind.
But you didn't want to.
I didn't want to.
You wanted to talk this out.
No. Well, I wanted to do whatever she wanted to do. Sade could have went in the house. She could have went in the house when she came up from the backyard.
Well, you had made her mad enough to go get a gun. You had almost pulled the trigger on her.
Objection. He's testifying. There's not closing argument.
Overruled. Go ahead.
How did you think this was going to end?
Say that again.
How did you think this encounter was going to end?
I thought he was going to come out and go back in the house. She didn't need him. I didn't need him.
And then how was it
And
going
she
to end?
told him that, and I told him that. But I guess he seen me some other way.
And so how did you think it was going to end between you and Sade?
I don't know how it was going to end. He didn't give it a chance to end. He attacked me.
I'm questioning you is how did you think it was going to end?
If he would have went in,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would go talk to her. Whatever we chose, whatever we decided, I would go give her her gun back, and I was going to leave.
So even though both of you were angry enough, mad enough, scared enough, or whatever, that you both pulled guns, you thought you could work this out?
No, I pulled a gun because she went and got a gun. I wasn't angry. Check the text message.
In spite of the fact there's guns here, you thought you could work this out?
Yes. She didn't have a gun at first.
After a trial that included jury selection and opening statements laid out over several days, the jury deliberated for less than 6 hours before finding Lloyd guilty on all counts. In the penalty phase that followed, the same panel took less than an hour to recommend life in prison rather than death.
You claim that Mr. Lloyd is incompetent, therefore He is not calm. He cannot make his own decisions.
Lloyd's defense team used this outburst in court today where Lloyd got physical with deputies as an example of how they say he is no longer competent to continue in his sentencing hearings. Quote, having a full psychotic break, his attorneys told the judge this morning.
Ms. Miller, he's manifested that behavior since the day he was arrested. There's nothing about his behavior today that is any different. I don't know whether he's competent or not. That's what we have doctors for.
And that was the point of this continued Spencer hearing, where the defense has one last chance to provide additional evidence to spare Lloyd's life, bringing in a psychologist, Dr. Xavier Amador, to testify on the phone.
Our interviews were more of a monologue than a dialogue.
He testified Lloyd suffers from schizophrenia and delusions.
The judge was a slave master, and her sole goal was to kill him.
All because she wore red shoes to court one day, he said.
These things are just churning in his mind. All of the delusions I outlined a few moments ago are really incessant.
Adding something new, claiming Lloyd also has what's called anosognosia, where he is in denial he has any mental illness at all.
My testimony, it wouldn't convince him in any way, shape, or form that he has a mental illness.
Testifying Lloyd is not competent to continue in his sentencing.
He was not competent to proceed with the current proceedings.
Dixon's mother, who had hoped for a death sentence, later called the outcome God's plan, describing it as a measure of relief for her family, though not closure.
Well, it wasn't the verdict that I desired, but the jury made their decision, and when they made their decision, it's final. There's nothing
Stephanie Dixon Daniels tells West 2 News the recommendation the jury gave Wednesday, life without parole, was not what she wanted for her daughter, Sade Dixon, and her daughter's unborn child, who Markeith Lloyd was convicted of killing.
You wanted death. Tell us why.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's what the Bible say.
Markeith Lloyd gets 2 mandatory life sentences, one for her daughter and one for her unborn grandson.
We are exhaling. Our case is closed. No more court, no more going back. If the death penalty, if they did recommend the death penalty, it would have been appeals, going back to appeals, reliving everything over again. Then that means there's no healing. So with that said, I fought for the maximum, but I expected the least. My family wanted life in prison, because that's death to him.
Markeith Lloyd could still get death in his second trial for the murder of Orlando Police Lieutenant Debra Clayton. Stephanie Dixon Daniels says she will be in court to support the Clayton family.
Right.
She says this first trial was never about Markeith Lloyd. It was about Sade Dixon, her daughter and best friend.
I love my daughter. I love her from the bottom of my heart, and I'm quite sure she's smiling down on us saying, "Thank you, Mommy. Job well done."
In Orange County, Gail Pascal Brown, West 2 News.
3 years later, Lloyd stood trial for the murder of Lieutenant Debra Clayton. In November 2021, a jury found him guilty on 5 charges, including first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and carjacking. During the trial, Lloyd claimed he had not intended to kill Clayton and asserted that she had fired first. The evidence, including the autopsy showing Clayton was struck 4 times with the fatal wound delivered to her neck as she lay on the ground, told a different story to jurors. A month after the guilty verdict, the 12-member jury unanimously recommended the death penalty. On March 3rd, 2022, Judge Leticia Marquez formally sentenced Lloyd to death. He shouted at the courtroom gallery as deputies removed him following the sentencing, consistent with his conduct throughout the proceedings. Clayton's family had waited more than 5 years for that moment. Her sister, Ashley Thomas, told reporters outside the courthouse that the sentence was the outcome that should have happened, reflecting on how long the process had taken and what her sister had lost. Sheriff John Mina, who had led the department during the original manhunt, said publicly that Lloyd had caused immense suffering across 3 families: Clayton's, Dixon's, and that of Deputy Norman Lewis. What began as a domestic shooting on a quiet residential street in Pine Hills ultimately claimed the lives of Sade Dixon, her unborn child, Lieutenant Debra Clayton, and, indirectly, Deputy Norman Lewis. It exposed warning signs that had gone unheeded in an intimate relationship, tested the boundaries of prosecutorial discretion at the highest levels of Florida government, and required 2 separate trials spanning years to reach resolution. Markeith Lloyd now sits on death row, appealing a sentence that 2 juries and the state's highest court have upheld, while the families of his victims continue to live with the aftermath of 9 days in January 2017 that Central Florida has not forgotten. Did you find this case informative? If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.